All right, so let's start with MVP. And Jinx, I feel like we always make picks for this. And the running joke on our show is that every single year, with the exception of last year, I think we have picked Josh Allen to win MVP. And of course, last year was the first year that he finally won MVP. So our luck has not been great when it comes to MVP. But listen, at these prices, you could probably pick a couple. And if you're right, you will still be up some units. So we have some good candidates to choose from, as we always do. Lamar Jackson is your favorite at plus 550. Joe Burrow 6-1, as Josh Allen is as well. Patrick Mahomes 7-1, Jane Daniels plus 750. Jalen Hurts 18-1, Justin Herbert 20-1. So it feels to me that I'm not going to say that this is a race that's only between like a few guys. Yeah. But it does feel like it's extremely top heavy. Like, I feel like there's probably 10 guys within reason that could actually win this award. So do you care to make a stab here? You want to pick two that you like?
Who am I going to go with here? I just feel like it's the usual suspects, And I like Joe Burrow a lot. Like, he put up monster numbers last year, 6-1. Also, with that defense, I think that defense is going to be poor, like really bad again. And there's still no movement between Trey Hendrickson and the team, and they need him. He's going to get the ball. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. Do you know what I mean? Now, in the NFL, unlike baseball, for example, if you're competing for the Cy Young, your team also needs to win games. Do you know what I mean? So if you're going to believe in Joe Burrow, you need to believe in the Bengals. So if you like Joe Burrow, I'll say it. I'll be the first guy to say it. If you like Joe Burrow, you better like the Atlanta Falcons. All right, I said it. But obviously, it's win-loss correlated with your particular team, and I don't know how I feel about the Bengals. I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to get off to a better start. They have to. They've been working on that. And even with their deficiencies, which we've seen for a while now, they just find a way to put wins together at some point. So I feel like Joe Burrow is a good choice. And I do like Jaden Daniels as well at plus 750. Like, this guy is just an MVP waiting to happen. I don't know if this is the year. So it'd probably be Burrow and then Jaden Daniels are the two guys I like on this list.
I think my question for Jaden Daniels is that, are the numbers going to fly off the page? Because as far as like clutch moments, I totally believe in Jane Daniels. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think he's only going to get better. But for MVP, you have to have those numbers that fly off the page. You have to have the 40 touchdowns. You have to have like only 5 interceptions or something like that. So that would be my only like nitpick thing on Jane Daniels, especially since we don't know about Terry McLaurin. Like, I think we're assuming that he's going to stay with the team, but like that's still something that is a variable, and he is the number one receiver, so that's a big part of their offense. But if you look at the list of former MVPs, it's like a who's who of big names, and it's mostly quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers twice in a row, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. So I don't think this is one of those markets where you go further down the list. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to take a swing on somebody at 200-1.
Exactly.
It just feels like that's kind of out of the realm of possibility, especially if we're talking about Will Levis. But for me, I think Lamar Jackson is your favorite for a reason, simply because he puts up these crazy numbers. But I will say he had an injury scare at practice yesterday, so maybe I'll wait to see how that shakes out. Do we think there is a chance that Josh Allen wins back-to-back? Because we've talked about voter fatigue before, and usually it pertains to Lamar Jackson. Usually it pertains to Nikola Jokic in the NBA. But Lamar Jackson had a very solid case to win it last year. Like, statistically, from a throwing perspective, he had one of his best seasons ever. And I know we think of Lamar Jackson as a dual threat quarterback guy, but he had 41 touchdowns last year to only 4 picks. Those are prime Aaron Rodgers numbers, back when Aaron Rodgers was winning back-to-back MVPs, and he's a pocket passer. So I feel like Lamar Jackson has really found his groove. I would not be shocked if he puts up those type of numbers again, but maybe people are ready for somebody new. I do think Joe Burrow is hamstrung by the fact that his team might not be that good. Because, Jenks, let me ask you this. Do you think somebody can win MVP if their team doesn't make the playoffs? Because we saw that last year. Joe Burrow put up great numbers. Wasn't even in the discussion.
I think that's the case for why you have to make the playoffs and have to have at least a postseason appearance to be considered for the MVP. Because Joe Burrow's numbers last year, I don't have them right in front of me. Didn't he throw for 41 touchdowns last year? Like, he was just through the roof with how he played, and yet you didn't hear his name bandied about when we were talking about the MVP. It was Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. He had 43 touchdowns, even better. Joe Burrow threw for 43 touchdowns last year. But all we heard was Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And I understand that, right? Like, either one of those guys were fine candidates. I know a lot of people thought Lamar should have won it, so I'm not saying that Josh Allen wasn't worthy. But the reason why we focused on Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson is because those were clearly Super Bowl caliber, or definitely playoff caliber teams. I mean, they were in the postseason. The Bengals were not. So it was like, oh, you guys are doing great. Yeah, you're doing great too, but your team isn't any good. So I think those things are absolutely correlated.
It almost feels like a process of elimination argument, right? Where you're looking down the list, you're like, okay, who do I not like? Because I think that's kind of how it goes for me. Is it like Jalen Hurts? I've bet on him to win MVP before, and I just feel like his numbers don't fly off the page enough. And there's this overwhelming narrative of he has too many weapons around him. Like, remember the year that Brock Purdy was really good, and people just could not get past the fact that he had so many, explosive offensive weapons behind the line of scrimmage. And that's still going to be the argument for Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts isn't getting my vote this year. Maybe I'm going to go with Josh Allen back to back, just process of elimination, because I do think statistically he is going to continue to put up big numbers. Like, I don't think he's losing a step this year. He still has the dual threat ability, which I think is an added, check mark in the book of voters when you can run for touchdowns as well. So I think the favorites are favorites for a reason, because as much as I am sold on Joe Burrow, like, every single year we do the same song and dance where I make a case for the Bengals and I make a case for Joe Burrow as well. But can you really believe in the Bengals? Like, you watched that preseason game.
Yeah.
And I know that Zach Taylor was spinning it. Did you see the all-time spin zone that he put on his defense? He was like, yeah, we don't want to give anybody, any idea of what we're doing. We're not putting anything on film. So we've saved all of our defensive packages. We're like, yeah I hope so. Didn't have any.
Instead of allowing 10 yards per play when the regular season comes, it's going to be 9. Just wait until we roll out some of our more expansive packages here. Yeah, I heard that too. I was like, I don't know. And also, have you seen your defense over the past couple seasons? You need the help. I will also say this when it comes to the MVP award, and this is very similar to the Nikola Jokic-Joel Embiid thing, right? Because they kind of went back and forth, and at some point it was, okay, it's Joel Embiid's time. It's his time. And then, it goes back to Nikola Jokic. At some point, I think if it comes down to Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen again, like, there's a lot of people last year who thought, I can't believe Lamar Jackson didn't win this award. Like, it got really close late where it was Josh Allen, and then, I think you have to give it to Lamar. So if it's close again, it's going to creep into people's minds. It's going to be, Lamar maybe should have gotten it last year. So let's give it back to him this year. I can absolutely see that happening.
Yeah, I hate to even bring it up, but Lamar Jackson has had his injury concerns before, and it feels like he's been healthy for a while. And of course, we had that injury scare at practice yesterday. So that's obviously the biggest red flag, I think, for Lamar Jackson, because when he is healthy, he is a regular season juggernaut. Like, the guy puts up the stats. So I think that he is a deserving favorite here, especially if he can stay healthy.